views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready, 'cause it's the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. Today's show is going to be incredible. We have the cast and the director and creator and everything with us of the amazing movie that's coming out soon, Unwritten, and it looks phenomenal, and the whole storyline is so cool. And we even have Gabriel Burrafato on the line with us, which is like a huge honor. So I am so excited about this show. So let's get right into it. So first of all, I have Dave. Jeez Louise.
It's okay.
I'm remembering Gabe and Gabriel. Okay. But Dale and Mark Justice with us. And I mean, this show, the movie looks absolutely incredible. So why don't you talk a little bit about it and what it is?
Okay. Unwritten is a sci-fi thriller about a washed-up writer who lives in a used bookstore, and he becomes convinced that a mysterious customer is the villain from a story he wrote as a kid.
And I think I see the villain, right?
Yep, that's Mark.
Mark, what's your character?
I play Sherwood. He is the fictitious character that Albert Finch has written into his story that has come back to carry out the plan in real life. So
that's interesting. Very cool. And Gabriel, you actually also have the lead. And first of all, I want to say thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show, because I think you're amazing.
Pleasure.
So what's your character about?
Well, his name is Albert, and like Dale said, he lives in a bookstore, and he's gone through a lot of sort of emotional issues, and it's sort of, what do you call it, agoraphobic? You know, when you're in a inside
agoraphobic, yeah.
Agoraphobic, yeah. So he's created that phobia as well. He's got a lot of issues in terms of getting close to people and stuff. So we kind of explore that in the movie. Great character, a lot of dynamic to it, which is a lot of fun playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dale, so you created the movie and everything, and you thought of everything, correct?
Right. Wrote and directed, and one of the producers.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm always open to collaboration and feedback, so I was always trying to explore that with the actors and even the crew, anything, you know, that they had to offer. So
what made you even get this idea for a movie? Because I mean, it's very unique and it's really cool. It's a brilliant idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dale.
I was looking up an old script I had written, and I was going through the character biographies on the, and I came across a villain's biography, and it was a science fiction that took place in the near future. So I was looking at the date that the villain was born, and I was like, hey, he's going to be born in 5 years from now. And I was like, wait, what if he really was born? What would happen? Oh. And so then all of a sudden that clicked, and that's when I started developing the story.
So it's almost like based on a real life type of thing. Hopefully a real villain doesn't come to life, and that wouldn't be too good.
We've got...
Oh, is there a story with that?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? But no, that's really cool. And you know, you have a really big cast in it. Lorenzo Lamas, who's a huge actor as well, and a lot of great Vegas actors. I've worked with a lot of them. They're all really incredibly talented and have such huge, what's it called? I can't think of the word. Resume. They all have huge resumes with them. So,
thanks.
Yes, yeah.
And that's what's so great about this movie. It's 100% Las Vegas. You know, it's all local, and we're really proud of it. You know, it's showing everybody's talent, and just proving to everybody that we got a lot of talent here in this city, right?
Yeah, and Gabriel, I would actually love to talk to you about that, because you have been everywhere, and you worked New York, LA, everywhere. And I always try to say I think Vegas is a huge place, and I don't think a lot of people realize there's a huge film community out here, and I mean, it's really incredible. So I think it's awesome, Gabriel, too, that you are out here in Vegas working and stuff. So do you kind of agree with that? Like, I think Vegas is kind of almost the next Hollywood, I would say. Do you kind of agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like you said, yeah, I had the opportunity working in several places, but Las Vegas has got a lot of heart, and especially, with the recent events, with the tragedy that happened, it sort of proved that, that it's a strong community, strong in the community, and we have a whole lot of talent. And I think, honestly, this is just the beginning of it just, progressing and getting better towards the recognition, worldwide recognition as the entertainment capital of the world, but not just live theater, but also film and television and radio, talk shows like yourself. Yeah.
No, it's true, and I think that's awesome. And Mark, too, you work everywhere as well. But you're based out here in Vegas, am I correct?
Correct.
So I am sure you're very big in the film community here, so I'm sure it's close to your heart as well.
Absolutely, yeah, and I try to stay as active as possible. And like Gabe said, there's a lot of talent here. It kind of goes under the radar. So I think the more that we can band together as a community and create those opportunities for ourselves, it could very well take us to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was just going to say, outside of California, if I wasn't living in Vegas, I don't think this film would have been possible, to get the talent that I needed. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Lorenzo Lamas was living in Vegas at the time, too. So.
Oh, really? That's
so
awesome.
Everyone was...
I mean, Vegas is perfect, and on top of it, you have so many different options. You have the casinos, you have suburbs type of areas, you have the mountains, the lake. I mean, you really have everything here, so it really is. It's like the perfect place to film, and the temperature is pretty steady too, so you really can't beat it. And what's also really cool about this movie is you're actually helping the book community too here, and it's perfect for the movie as well. Why don't you talk about that? Because I think that's phenomenal what you're doing, and really, really cool.
Okay. Yes, we filmed in a local bookstore out here called Amber Unicorn Books.
Which is a great bookstore.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a big bookstore. They have their
really cool
main area, and then they've got even two other side areas which we shot on too. And they were phenomenal. Myrna and Lou, and Lou recently passed a couple months ago. So, so what we're doing with the premiere is we're also, all the profits are going towards buying books from Amber Unicorn Books and donating them to Spread the Word Nevada, which helps put books in the hands of children who don't have books. And so it fits in perfectly, and it's a great organization.
Yeah, absolutely. And I first of all, I'm a huge reader and stuff, and I mean, the Kindle's cool and stuff like that, but I like actually having physical books, and unfortunately, I think it's almost kind of dying out. So I think it's really cool that you're helping keep it alive, and I think that's awesome. That on top of it, buying the books for the community and stuff. I mean, that's really phenomenal. You should be so proud of yourself.
Good call, Dale.
No, it's a great call. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's I think people who love reading and love books will definitely enjoy the movie, and people usually love bookstores that read books. So since most of the movie takes place in a bookstore, not all of it, but most of it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh yeah, go ahead, Gabriel. I'm sorry.
It's kind of like, how the vinyl craze is coming back. Everybody likes those vinyl records now,
yes.
and these little sort of vinyl stores are coming up here selling these records. It's the same thing with books. It's now kind of sort of it's coming back. There's a nostalgic feel to it, and especially a used bookstore too.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Cool. It's a comfortable feeling is what it is. Every time I'm in there, when we filmed in there, I felt like I was at home. It's just everything was warm and.
It was your home.
Yeah, you were sleeping quite often.
That's right.
You had your little tea set up and everything.
But books actually a little bit are. I was reading the Kindle was starting to die down a little, and the hard copy books were starting to come back up.
That's great. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then in England, books are selling more now because people are buying more bookshelves because they want to show off the books in their home of what kind of stuff they read. So over there too. So we'll have to definitely hopefully get the movie in England too.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that for sure. And then, speaking of books, I think writing kind of goes hand in hand, and it can get really difficult. And like I said, the script is really phenomenal. Like the whole idea, the concept of it, really, really cool and unique and something different. So it has to be difficult, though, I'm sure. How do you get through sort of a writer's block, or keep thinking of new concepts? Because I'm sure it's pretty difficult sometimes.
Yeah, it's the agony and ecstasy type thing. Writer's block, sometimes I deal with it, maybe, well, not necessarily the wrong way, but sleeping sometimes is a good cure for writer's block. And other times I just, if I'm blocked, all I do is I just start writing notes of what if, and just exploring all different possibilities. And I'm trying to think what else I do. I can't think at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah. I get it. I could never get into writing or anything because it's a really difficult thing. So to create the whole film, that's awesome. And then for actors, I am an actor as well. It's cool to get into your character and stuff. And both of you guys have really awesome and unique characters. What was it like getting into your character and getting into the mind and working with Dale? So why don't we start off with Gabriel, actually, and then we'll go to Mark.
Well, yeah, Albert was fun because I used to drink this tea on set. It's called mate. It's Argentinian tea. It's really high in caffeine. And that kind of got me into the mindset of kind of being sort of skittish and weird. And then actually Dale taught me this wonderful trick about turning around on the spot to get that sort of sensation of where are you in the room and stuff. But those are just physical aspects I did to get into the character. But in terms of how he was and all that, I went along the lines of having a kid, because his relationship with his daughter was a prominent thing in this whole movie as well, and how he got intimidated at first and dealing with it scared him being a father. So then I sort of tapped into the scary parts of being a father myself with my twin boys. I mean, it's great, it's wonderful, but it could be intimidating. So I kind of tapped into that as well in terms of trying to get the sort of a authentic dynamic from the guy as well. But it was, and also hanging out in that bookstore a lot helped too, because it kind of it gets to you,
Yeah.
Are you the one that asked to sleep in the bookstore?
Yeah, remember I asked if I could sleep there one night. That
was before we started filming.
I was being all method.
There you go. Perfect. And Mark?
Well, for Sherwood, I kind of took the mental aspect as far as I know he was a character that was written by a child, so you'll see in the movie, I suspect, probably a few spots where, the character's villainous aspects are a little over the top, as I expect a child who's writing a story would probably create a villain. But I also wanted to make him a little more relatable to an audience, so that there's a realistic aspect to him that kind of gives you that feeling of, oh, you know what I mean?
Right.
But he was, I don't know if I should say this, I thought he was really easy to get into as far as a character role. And I had come off of another performance in another project that had some bits of Sherwood into him, so it was easy to kind of pull from those elements, which made it a little easier for me.
Definitely. And I do want to get more into the cast, because truly, like I said, it was a Vegas all-star cast and some really cool people. So what was the casting process like, and why don't we talk about some of the actors, because really it's really cool what you do with all these actors.
Right. We had open auditions. We started in May, and then shot the movie the following February. That was 2016. Gotcha. So we just went through the process of auditioning, and auditioning, I don't know, there's not a perfect system, I don't think, because you can't, there's some actors that don't do well in auditions, but they're really good, and then vice versa.
Yeah, I agree.
And
auditions are tough, and it's scary, and it's true.
Especially if you don't have time to prepare, which you should have.
I hate cold reads. They're the worst ones.
So we had a lot of great actors, a lot of great people come out, but it was also a matter of finding the right people. I tried not to close myself off to this is exactly the way they got to be. I tried to be open, to if someone brought something different. But so it took a while, and then I think I called Mark to come in to audition because I'd seen his work, and I don't know if it's through Ashley Campbell or whatever, I think. And so, because I enjoyed his work. And for Albert, okay, we found Brittany Hosa for Liv, Albert's daughter.
Right.
But that took a little while to cast because we hadn't found our Albert yet. We had to know who our Albert was before we could cast his daughter.
They had to look like father and daughter, yeah.
And then Ben Stober was cast as the psychologist. Did a great job. And he actually auditioned for the Sherwood villain role.
Oh, okay.
And so the longest one that took us was finding our Albert, because we needed it. There was just a certain thing. I don't know what it was, but I was just looking for a certain thing, and someone had put us in touch with Gabe, and he came out on audition, and I was like, oh, finally we got an Albert. And so then that's when we cast Brittany as Liv.
That's perfect. So. Yeah, and they look like they could easily be father and daughter. So,
right.
And you know, in Vegas, it is tough because it's not like everyone in Hollywood's a dime a dozen for no matter what you look like or anything. But here, we have a lot of people, but not in a crazy amount. So to find ones that look, they look perfect. Like you couldn't tell they weren't related. It was perfect.
And then Abraham Rodriguez, who plays young Albert.
Oh, okay.
They look like
yeah, he's great.
Younger self. So
that's perfect.
Yeah.
right, Gabe.
Good job there, Dylan. You nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, and I was gonna ask how you found Gabriel and stuff, because I mean that's really cool. And
right, Gabe, do you remember who put?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I forgot it. You know what? As we talk, I will look him up. But it was a gentleman, well known in Vegas, and he was one who actually recommended. He Facebooked me and says, "Hey, Dale is looking for this particular role, and I suggested you, and I'm going to find his name before the end of this, I promise." and I said, "Sure, hook me up." And I went in and met him for the first time, and I read with several different Sherwoods, and then different daughters. And what I loved, I know you were talking about cold reads, how you hate cold reads too. Yeah, they're intimidating. But what was wonderful is that I got the opportunity to just do an ice cold read. Like, I mean, literally, it was you'll find this funny. I was reading one side of the side, and then I didn't realize that there was another page behind the page. So I said, okay, we're done. But there was a whole other scene, and the next then I had to ice cold that too. And it was just so liberating, you know, to just not worry about preparation, to just reading on the moment and being in the moment. So that was kind of cool too, and especially to experience that with Brittany on the spot. So that was kind of interesting.
And in the audition process and the rehearsal process, we did a lot of improvising.
Oh, that's
so
good.
Just to free them up and explore, and because the main thing was, I didn't care as much about them, like trying to do a certain thing. Right. It was more about finding their character, not as much about memorizing a certain way to do it or whatever. So.
And
that was a great process. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's really cool because, unfortunately, especially like directors who wrote everything and are putting everything, they want to stick to the script so much and it has to be exact. But when you give your actors a chance to improvise or add a little extra flair or whatnot, that's a really good opportunity for the actors, and it could give some whole new meaning to the movies. So that's really cool that you offered that.
I mean, if I was a genius writer, then I'd probably want them to do every single word exactly the way it was, or if I had the script exactly the way I wanted it. But yeah, you're right. I think Mark and Gabe could answer better, but I think it probably does help some to be able to have a little freedom in there to.
Well, I think it was a great process. Dale kind of let us do what he wanted until he got what he wanted, and then we would do like a couple of takes where you guys do something, surprise me. And I felt
yeah. I love those are fun takes too,
Yeah, absolutely. And I even noticed when we were doing some ADR that those ended up being some of the takes that were kept. So, it was a fun process, especially bouncing stuff off of Gabe, and you just never knew what he was going to throw at me. And it kept me in the moment, which I appreciate. So, yeah, it was a great process.
Yeah, we were always throwing stuff at Gabe.
Yeah.
Always loved it, yeah. Well, yeah, Dale would do that. Dale, we would do it as written, and then he'd be like, great, now surprise me. So And they were like, great, wow. Like, it's not often, you know, as an actress yourself, to have that much creative freedom on set, you know, and to play with what the script is, and then now give me your take and throw in something extra, and now obviously Dale got all that material, and then he just sort of decided what he needed to, you know, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. So that was really refreshing and fun.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think we're gonna take a quick commercial break, but I think it's awesome, and the whole process sounds really, really cool. So we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about Unwritten and everything, and the whole cast and everything. And we're going to play the trailer during our commercial break. I was just told
Stay tuned for the trailer.
Yes, stay tuned for the trailer. We'll be back.
Yay.
Welcome to the Omega Used Bookstore.
So you live here?
Yeah. How do you know my daughter?
I already told you, she called me. I'm a psychologist. She's very worried about you.
I have to find that book. You're wasting time. He's going to be back any second.
Who's coming back?
Sherwood! He's the villain of my story, and he was just here in my bookstore. You wouldn't happen to be from Boulder, Colorado, would you?
How'd you know? What makes you think he's going to destroy the world?
Because that's what I wrote.
The Ultimate Weapon by Albert Flinch.
His weapons should never be tested.
Just get it done, Doctor.
There is no way that your character can be real.
Sherwood. We're dead. All of us. Dead.
It is all in your head, damn it! What the hell are you doing?
I could prove that he's the character of my story.
You're hurting people.
None of this is real! Where's Dr. Tanner?
He's probably busy psychologizing some nut job.
And we are back, and we just saw the trailer. And I do want to talk about the trailer because it's a really excellent trailer, and I think it kind of, I bet it is setting up the whole movie. I mean, it was awesome, so I can only imagine what the whole movie is going to be like. So are you excited about the trailer? I'm sure it's hard to edit trailers and stuff because you don't want to put too much or too little. And
Trailer took me forever.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't afford to get a professional trailer. I mean, they spend, on the big movies, they spend up to $100,000, $200,000 on a trailer.
Easily, yeah.
So, and plus trailer is a different type of editing than editing the movie. It's a whole nother art form, and so that's why it took me a long time. I did someone else faster, but so I spent the time and got feedback and kept doing it and got away from it and then got back to it. And yeah, I was really pleased with how the trailer turned out. And I just saw it last night on the big screen at the Eclipse Theater because at the Cinefilm short showcase showed the trailer and got good response there. So it was awesome seeing it on there.
That's great. Yeah, I'm sure you guys love the trailer because, I mean, it really looks awesome. And I'm so excited to see the film, too. So that should be great. And let's talk about the screening. So when is the screening and where will it be at and everything about it? Because I'm so excited about it.
Right. Okay. It's Sunday, February 25th.
Okay. At
AMC Town Square 18.
Awesome.
Which is what, the south end of the Strip?
Yes, yeah.
Just past the Strip. And the red carpet starts at 6 p.m., so if people want to get there early for the red carpet. And then 7 p.m. will be the screening of the movie. And afterwards, we'll have a Q&A with the cast and me.
Perfect. Yeah, that'll be cool. And, you know, I love the whole feeling of screenings and stuff because it's really exciting. And a lot of times the cast and crew, they haven't seen each other for a while, so it's like almost a reunion. So screenings are great, so it'll be cool.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Yeah, and everyone, please go down there. I think the link will be below us, and you can type it in. And but please go down there if you can make it out, because it should be so cool, and you'll get to see some awesome people, and the whole movie looks incredible. So it'll be really, really cool. I'm excited for it.
Yep. Yeah. Eventbrite.com, and also I think if you Google Unwritten movie premiere, it should show up, and then it's on Facebook, if you Unwritten movie on Facebook, links are there too.
Perfect. And so I do want to get into the cast a little bit more and a little bit more into detail because, we kind of mentioned it. I mean, it really, the people in it are phenomenal. And, I mean, you have actors who had a huge film career and they're getting even better and have a huge future ahead of them, and I mean, it's really, really cool. So, so why don't we go down, whoever you want to start with, and we could talk about all their stuff, because there's a lot of people with great projects that they have, and
right.
a lot of history to their name.
Yeah, maybe we'll start with the people that aren't here. Brittany Hoza.
She's excellent. Yeah, I worked with her a couple times. Right. She's great.
She did a film with Mark, Bleach.
Yes, that was great.
I don't know if you've worked on any other projects with her.
And
I think she did. Let's see, what was she in? Killer Monroe's, or she did
that's
Joe
a film
Lululemon?
I was in Killer Monroe's with her. Yeah, that was great.
Yes, and and she's living in California now, pursuing her career, and modeling also. So
yeah, and we even had the same acting teacher, Art Lynch, and he's phenomenal.
Okay,
so
great.
she's an excellent actress. So very cool.
And then Ben Stober.
Ben's great.
He started out in theater more, and he was he Ash? Which one was he in?
Yeah,
Evil
he was
Dead.
Ash. He was
Ash
Ash,
in Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And he won two Broadway World Awards for that.
Right. And then you won too, right? Or
yeah, well, he got lead. I got featured.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I think yours is pretty cool.
And let's see, Ben's I think first film was Last Days. I got to stop touching the table.
I'm really bad at it. My producer yells at me all the time, so don't worry about it.
Last Day of School was Ben's first feature, and then I hope I'm not missing any. And then he did Party Bus to Hell.
Yeah.
And then this one. And this is the first one he said he could take his grandma to. His first movie he could take his grandma to.
Yeah, I worked with Ben a few times. He's worked with Joe a lot for the Mortal Wars and a Telephobia 2 he was in.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, Ben's a great guy, an excellent actor for sure.
And let's see, Abraham Rodriguez, who played young Albert, he's in it for a little bit, and I think that was his first feature, and I think he did a national commercial now too. So
yeah, I saw that.
I can't remember exactly which one it is, but
it was for a car company. I don't know which car companies. I won't say it, but it was some car company, which is cool.
Yeah. And then Ashley Campbell had a cameo, and
Ashley's great.
Joe Chin, and of course Lorenzo Lamas.
Yes, he's awesome.
Pretty well-known name.
Yeah.
And there's
very well.
a lot of women who swoon over him, and so he's great. Thankfully we got him. He had the perfect look for the general role.
Oh yeah.
And he also has that commanding, authoritative presence that we absolutely needed for the role. So it was awesome working with him and having him in here. And then we can move on to Mark.
And then we have Ethan, right? Ethan, remember Ethan who plays Pete?
Yeah, Ethan Benton.
Oh yes, Ethan. Ethan. That was. I think that was his first film at all. He might have done shorts, and I know he was maybe doing theater and some filmmaking in school. But yes, this is his first film. Definitely first feature.
Very cool. And then we have Mark. And first of all, you might even recognize Mark from a lot of the billboards here in Las Vegas. You probably see it. Yeah, there you go. See?
Or.
Yeah. But you've been in a bazillion films, and you have some coming up. And oh yeah, commercials, everything. So. Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about, because you have a great film career.
The dancing,
Yeah.
my little homage to risky business, that was through the underwear company that I am a brand ambassador for. And that was all impromptu. Like, they just hit me up the last minute and was like, hey, we want to throw something at you. So they put on the music, and I went for it. So, but yeah, I've been blessed with a lot of opportunity in my career, and I'm just trying to make the best of it. And, you know, it's a lot of networking and a lot of making the best use of those networks, and and making sure that you don't let people down, because you know, like you said, you're pretty expendable. There's me a dime a dozen, so you mess up one opportunity and you kind of out the door. So you know, I was very fortunate enough to travel to India last year for a film.
Awesome.
I've got a couple of projects taking me to Detroit and Ohio coming up this spring, so yeah, been very blessed. Yeah.
And Mark's being humble right now, but yeah, he's really great and he's done a lot of great stuff. And one of the things I loved about him is that he doesn't play it safe. He's really willing to. That's in a good way.
No,
He's willing to go out there. I mean, because it's easy to play it safe, but that's what I wanted from him. So
yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, and he got the whole other cast going as well, because, you know, Mark, like Dale says, he takes chances, and it gave me the courage to take chances too, you know, and to go that extra mile physically as well. So it rubbed off on everybody either way, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, and physically too. This guy, he'll do about anything. He's
pretty much
broken stuff. During our film, on some other thing he did, there was something in his thumb or whatever, and cuts. But and then of course we sprayed him in the eyes, and but he also didn't you do or some stunt work too, or?
Yeah, I mean, I try to do all my own stunts. I think they're fun. I've had several actors, you know, in their prime that have like, don't do your stunts, you know, you're short in your career. But I think they're fun, so it's hard for me to, you know, stay away from that. But for me, it just helps me get into the character a little bit more too. So anytime I get a chance to hurt myself, I do it.
And hopefully I'm not talking too loud. I start getting loud when I get excited.
Oh no! Do you hear me? I'm Italian. I'm like the loudest person in the world. Don't worry about it.
And then Gabe.
Yeah, Gabe. I was gonna say. I mean, my goodness, 2-time Broadway award winner. I mean, you have so much stuff under your belt. So why don't we talk about you, Gabriel? You have, and I'm sure a million things coming up as well. So why don't we get into you a little bit?
Yeah, as you said earlier, I started off in theater, performed Broadway, national tours, sort of like the musical theater thing. That's kind of been my bread and butter. And I used to do a lot of film and TV when I was younger, like in my early teens to young adult age. But then, as you know, theater takes so much of your time that I didn't really get a chance to do that. So there was a kind of a time period where I wasn't doing much film TV. And then in the past 10 years, I've been dabbling in that a lot more now, and film and television here in Los Angeles and stuff. Well, more television and yeah. So, but this is probably the first lead in a feature movie I've ever done. I've had other parts, but not such a heavy role in a feature film. In shorts, but not like a feature film. So thanks, Dale.
Sure. And he's a great singer too.
Oh yeah, I dance to everything, triple that for sure.
Except for now, I have a cold. So.
Well, you sound great, so you couldn't even tell. And Dale, don't be shy yourself. You have really great past experiences, a lot of short films and stuff. And I mean, you're really awesome, and this looks incredible. So why don't you talk a little bit about your career too?
Let's see. I worked on a lot of low-budget movies in different crew positions, which was very helpful because I learned a lot, and it just helps to know all the different departments, especially when you're finally directing and stuff. Right. Yeah, I've made some shorts. I've always been hard on myself, so I've never really liked anything until like my last short. I finally liked that one, and so. Yes, I've done shorts and went to film school and studied, and now I'm losing my train of thought.
Your awesome background.
But I took all the knowledge and all the experience I learned from working on low-budget movies and making my own films, and really applied it towards this one, because I really wanted to set the standard high for this. Even though it was the first feature, I wanted it standard to be as high as I could, because I know we're not always going to reach up here, but at least if we miss that, we're at least still at this, like, good high standard, which I'm really pleased and proud of the film that we got.
Yeah, and you also you won some awards as well, correct, for your short films and everything?
Right. I'm trying to think. Too
many to remember.
I'm trying to remember what the one was called. One was in school. I can't remember what it was called. Best experimental film, I guess, and a short film that played at the Damn Short Film Festival, which I guess is also coming up.
Great. I love that film festival. It's so cool.
And I was a semi-finalist in the Fade-In screenwriting contest, and I did really well in that.
That's great. And I gotta say, short films are incredible and stuff, but it's a completely different beast than full features, and I'm just acting in that. I can't even imagine actually creating them and producing and writing and everything. So was it hard to make that jump from short film to feature?
Maybe not the jump, but when I actually jumped, it was hard.
Right.
Yeah, it's the hardest, most stressful thing I've ever done. Every step along the way was a first, biggest. The biggest thing, one of the biggest things on a feature is just the amount of decisions and questions you get, Right. And we ran into an obstacle almost every day that we had to find a way around, or which is good, because you have to think creatively. And it was yes, it was it was the most stressful, but also yet the most fulfilling experience I've had. And I'm glad I made it through.
Yeah, definitely. No, people, like, it looks all glamorous and it's so much fun, but it's a lot of work for actors, the crew, and you guys, of course, the director, writer. I mean, it's a lot of work, and you think, oh, it's great, and you just see the final product, but there's a lot of work behind it. So.
Yeah, and the crew was amazing. That was my favorite part of the movie. My favorite experience of the movie was the people I worked with. The crew was always in good spirits. I mean, I've worked on films before, and there's a mixture of, but I mean, these guys were up all the time, and we had some like all-night shoots. And then regular day shoots, and we had some get up at 2 a.m., drive 1 hour out to Moapa Valley and shoot. And they were always still in great spirits, and they were amazing. And I couldn't have done the film without. I mean, there's so many people that you need to make a film. So. Right.
And I mean, how long was the whole process? Would you say, like, because I know it's a lot of work. So how long was the whole entire thing for filming, at least?
Oh, for filming, we actually shot 28 days.
Wow, that's a long shoot, yeah.
Right. And then there are a few pickup days, but yes.
That's great. And then how about the whole process then? How long was that?
The development process was a year or two at least. And then from shooting till now has been a couple years, because it was February 15th or somewhere around there that we started on in 2016 when we started shooting.
Yeah.
And so yes, and yeah, part of the thing is I would never recommend editing a film that you've directed. It's very, very difficult, because you can't get. It's hard to get the perspective, because you know everything that went on during filming. So I finally, towards the end, I brought in an editor to finish the film, because I just need someone with fresh eyes to be able to get in there and see what I can't see.
Yeah. And I believe you also worked with Jeremy Settles from Got Films.
Right,
correct?
yes.
Yeah.
Jeremy, in association with him, with his company, so he's one of the producers. And Kenneth Parker was a producer, and Stephen Mandel. And then Christopher Stiles was my co-producer and AD, and he was my backbone. He was the backbone of the film. He did an awesome job and worked really hard. And also, we couldn't have made the film without our executive producer, Robson Longwell. We wouldn't have been able to get it done without him, and my lips are starting to stick together.
Oh, it's almost over, don't worry. But okay, yeah, so let's start wrapping it up, I guess. Because I really want to promote you guys, and I really hope everyone that's listening will go and check it out, and check out everyone here too. So why don't you go over everything, the screening, where people can keep up to date with you guys, the website, everything, and then we'll go down, and you, Mark and Gabriel, you guys can both have where everyone can follow you and keep up to date with you. So why don't we start with Dale real quick?
Okay, there's the Unwritten Movie Facebook. There's the website, unwrittenmovie.com.
Okay.
Not supposed to say
I've been doing it, don't worry.
And the Eventbrite.com for the screening, which again is February 25th. There's, let's see, who else, what else?
Yeah, you said the red carpet's at 6 p.m. with the screening at 7 p.m.
Right.
Right. We're on Instagram.
Right, Instagram, Facebook, some Twitter.
All Unwritten.
And the website too, right? Unwritten Movie.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So is that where people can follow the movie?
Yes, yes. And especially since this will be a week later, I would definitely say get your tickets now, because we're going to have probably be close to sold out. So get your tickets right away.
Yeah.
Get your tickets right away.
And then, Gabriel, where can people follow you? And if you have any upcoming projects you want to promote or anything, too, go right ahead.
Yeah, so if you GabrielBurrafato.com, Gabriel, last name's pretty tricky. It's Burraf as in Frank ATO.com, and it's got all my links to social media. And oh yeah, and before I forget, I remember the name of the gentleman who recommended me to Dale.
Oh,
Greg,
there you go.
Greg Van Cott.
Okay, right.
Oh, I love Greg. I haven't seen him in years, but I love Greg. He's a great dude.
Yeah, yeah. And, well, something's in the air right now about possible pilot being picked up, but I don't know yet. So we're all kind of, that's what I have coming up. I'm in pins and needles wondering if I have to move somewhere or not. You know, that sort of crazy actor situation. So I should know in a month if this pilot that I did is getting picked up. That's all.
That's great. And, I mean, that's really cool, and I hope it does, and I'm sure it will.
Oh, thanks.
And then, Mark, I'm sure you have a lot of projects. I know about a few of them, actually, because we're working together on some of them. So all your stuff you have coming up where people can follow you.
Yeah, so you can get on my website, themarkjustice.com. I'm mainly on Instagram. You can find me there at themarkjustice. But yeah, I've got Bleach. We should be releasing the trailer for Bleach within the next month. And then we've got the Immortal Wars 2 Resurgence that we've just finished filming, and it's in post. And I think Joe Lujan has The Dawning coming up as well. So I'll be on an episode of that, I think next week. And then I've got a couple projects that we're going to be filming this summer. One of them that I'm super excited about is The Path to Glory, which is a movie about Jim Thorpe.
Awesome.
So that'll be a fun movie, absolutely. And yeah, themarkjustice.com. You can check out all my latest stuff there and keep up to date.
Yeah, and also I want to bring up too, because I just found out about it. I'm excited. My Little Nightmare with Joe Lujan as well. That's gonna be really cool. Yeah.
I wasn't sure I was allowed to talk about that one yet.
Well,
yes.
he talked about it before, so I'm sure it's all cool.
Okay.
But yeah, awesome. And so Unwritten movie is where people can follow it. It's all over social media and everything.
Right, right.
Okay.
Facebook. I think it's just Unwritten Movie on Facebook.
And the event too, that's all going to be on Facebook and Eventbrite and everywhere.
Right. Eventbrite's your best bet. Find the Facebook, yes, there's links. And if you missed a trailer today on the show, you can rewind.
Or you can watch it.
The trailer's up there too. So I love for people to see the trailer. So share the trailer.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it. My next project is going to be a teen sci-fi fantasy.
Oh, cool. Very, very cool. That sounds great. Yeah, well, thank you guys all so much for being on. Everyone that's listening or watching or whatever you're doing, please go check out everyone. And if you're going to be in Vegas and are available, please go check out the premiere too. And like he said, they're going to be sold out very soon. So go and get your tickets as soon as possible. And it's going to be great. And if you can't make the premiere, at least follow everything they're doing and then keep up to date when it comes out and gets distributed. And check it out because it sounds really cool. I'm excited for it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, please go check out everything. Yeah, thank you guys so much for being on. And thank you guys for watching. And remember, never give up, always believe, and you'll achieve. Thank you and God bless.